Hey, let me talk just briefly today, real briefly. I want to go over scoring and whatnot. I haven't done a good job of that yet, and talk about how this is going to work out. When we did the spreadsheets, and some people are still working on those, getting them finalized because maybe I've made some comments and whatnot. That's something that's got to be perfect, so we're going to keep going back and forth until we get those done and they're correct and they're perfect. Okay, when you submit any of the narratives from this point forward, you'll submit them. I'm going to give you a lot of feedback, okay? But for the most part, I won't allow you to redo those for a grade for that segment. I expect you to redo them for the final project. Does that make sense? To make, corrections that are absolute corrections, and then suggestions, you got to kind of go by, I guess, my comments. Some of them will be absolute, like if you spelled something wrong, for example, you need to fix that for sure, right? Sometimes I make a comment that's just a little bit more subjective, and you can certainly ignore some of those. So, kind of, you'll have to decide. Or if you got some questions, ask me, okay? But you'll see that, half your score basically for the project is going to be based on your first submission of, the financials, right? So you're going to get that grade. But you're also then going to get a full grade at the end, half the score for the entire project, right? So, I expect you to, like, you'll turn your marketing in, and I'm going to give you some feedback on that. I'm going to give you a grade of 80, let's say, okay? But if you correct everything and do all the improvements and whatnot, you should get 100 at the end for that segment, kind of. I mean, it's your finals graded all in one deal, but if you break it down like that, you should be able to improve that, okay? So that it kind of average out. Does that make sense to everybody? So you won't get, I would not have enough time if I like on the financial narratives even, you'd see how long that's taking me, but like the marketing plans for sure. If I gave them to you, gave you feedback, and then you corrected them, and I got them back, and I had to read through them again, and maybe, change your score then, I just couldn't get through it, okay? It just takes too long. So, and then as we get towards to the end, I got to read everybody's projects, and that gets to be real. You guys know what I'll be doing finals week is I'll be reading projects, right, and grading them and assigning grades and et cetera, et cetera. So it gets to be kind of lengthy. So any questions about that? Comments, concerns, those types of things? Okay, if you do, holler at me. I'm happy to discuss it, your individual grades, those types of things. Okay. Yeah, sometimes on the financial narratives, I've let people, because they're relatively short, I've let people kind of go back if they really turn something in that's really, really dog poor or whatever. But so far I haven't seen any of that here, and I'm almost done with them. So, okay. And your grade for the financial was both on the spreadsheets and on the financial narrative, kind of a combined thing. So, okay.
Did you say the marketing one, the section we're working on right now is the biggest section?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, marketing usually ends up being a lengthy narrative section. You'll actually, and Maria and I were talking about this a little bit earlier, when we get to management and organization, you're going to accumulate some documents. Like I said, your resumes, you'll have a personal financial statement. You're going to have some other things that we accumulate. There's going to be more papers there, but it's not things that you're going to write. Other than your resume, of course, you'll have to write that up. And those things are all things that are going to be in the appendix of your business plan. So that may end up being more pages, but it's not actually stuff that you've written. Okay.